answer is no. However, a segment of the Nigerian children are. And who are these segments? Those exclusively breastfed. In other words, children who are in the first 6 months of life in this country, because they are exclusive, because that's what the national PMTCT guidelines preaches, and that's what the government recommends, that all babies born in this country should be exclusively breastfed. And it is known, even among European women, that breast milk contains a certain percentage of DHA. For instance, the European women has about 0.28%. The Asian women, they have about 0.55%. I don't have the correct figure now for the African woman or for the Nigerian woman, but it is known that it's also within that range. So, in other words, exclusive breast milk, breastfeeding, breast milk contains enough DHA for the adequate growth of the baby up to 6 months. However, immediately after 6 months, after the exclusive breastfeeding period, that's where the wahala comes. And what do I mean by that? And that's where malnutrition actually sets in from immediately after 6 months and over till 1 year to 2 years. The reason is that time there's no more exclusive breastfeeding. There's now complementary feeding. And when in terms of complementary feeding, that's when poverty will enter. That's when ignorance, that's when cultural beliefs, actually with our different feeding practices. So those, our different feeding practices are the major cause of DHA. And like you said, DHA is very, very important for brain development. And if you don't have adequate DHA in your diet, brain development will either be stunted or be slowed. So the answer is no. Now, how do we ensure that these children can? So, first of all, we have to eradicate poverty. Then we have to teach our mothers appropriate feeding practices, actually complementary feeding practices, using those food resources that contains DHA. And if you empower them with knowledge that these are the food substances that contain enough DHA, then they can now make appropriate feeds for their children. However, there may be a subset of children that may not be able to take those appropriate feeds. That way, a supplementary DHA can be done in terms of provision by companies to provide and teach them how these things can be done.